world of Ninjago, there are a lot of side characters, and within Dragon's Rising, that fact doesn't change. We are introduced to a plethora of different side characters that are memorable throughout the show due to their interactions with the main cast or just their impact on the story. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the importance of side characters within Dragon's Rising and how they help push the story along. If you guys enjoy the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into the video. Dragon's Rising as a whole has been able to do something special with their characters through elaborating and kind of fleshing out their character even more. Even though yes, these characters may not be as important as like the main cast, they are still memorable enough to the point where we are actually vested in their story arc and in their character development and within the story, which is very interesting and very unique. And I want to talk about a few characters that we have been introduced to that have been done well by Dragon's Rising, the writers of Dragon's Rising as a whole, and their impact. The first character I want to talk about is Wildfire.
Passing is for teams, and teams are for people too weak to work alone.
Wildfire was a character that I brought up in my last Ninjago video, but I didn't really get to explain too much on because I just didn't really, remember some key points about her. But since I already caught up to season 2, part 2, I already finished the season, I want to just talk about Wildfire as a whole and just how important she is into the story and the role she played during the Tournament of Elements arc. Obviously, we know that Wildfire is a wild card, hence her name, due to the fact that she was raised in a world or in a land of dragons, basically being raised by a dragon heat wave. And we see that through her primitive nature, she's not really used to human interactions, the ways of life, because she was raised by dragons. But that all changes when she meets Kai and the gang, because it seems as if the gang helps Wildfire navigate and almost assimilate into the human world or the human way of life due to, Kai teaching her how to properly use her heat element. Lloyd teaching her how to walk, how to talk, how to use utensils. So it seems as if the ninja are helping Wildfire, assimilate into the human world as a human herself. And it's so cool that within this season we see how she's able to grow as a human without Kai, because we know Kai has been the mentor, big brother figure for her. But since Kai was in another dimension, sealed, you had to see Wildfire's progression without him, just to see how far she has come. And it is very apparent that she has come insanely far, even having a love interest in Roby, which is amazing. I love their dynamic. But yeah, man, it's so cool that Wildfire is able to develop as a character, and we see that she's able to almost stand alone without Kai, and how she's able to fight on her own. She's able to think on her own now. She's not just brash running into situations head on, but she's also able to take a step back and really analyze the situation that she's under or that she's in before making any decision, which shows that the ninja, especially Kai, had an impact on her, making her act much more rationally and logically. Even though yes, Wildfire will have her moments where she would be brash and stuff like that, we see Wildfire is still developing. We see that she's trying to be the person that Kai wants her to be, which is so awesome. I love Wildfire. She's one of my favorite characters, the new cast. So I just love seeing her progression throughout the story. And like I said before, her relationship with Roby is hilarious, because we see that she has a love interest in Roby. We see that through her moments where she's literally blushing and she's nervous to talk to him and stuff like that. We see that she's growing as a human. She's developing as a human, having her first emotional attachments to people aside from Kai, and an actual love interest for her. And we see she's actually doing human things. She's actually taking in human qualities, blushing around her crush, and not being able to form a sentence well, because she's just flustered around him. So it's so cool seeing Wildfire progress into a human and to really act like the person that Kai has taught her to become. And I just love how, you know, during the Tournament of Element arc, we see that she's able to also, you know, help Arin in his journey of finding the truth about the whole games and the lore behind Roby and his like clan or family, and how they had that crest on their clothing and what it could be. So I love that she's also able to tag along with Arin and like tag along with anybody of a sort and just try and be helpful to the group, you know. So yeah, what they did Wildfire in this season, very good. I love how they handled her progression and development. And then we have Frack. Frack is a relatively new supporting character. He wasn't really in the story for a long time, but like from his presence alone and from the little time he's been on screen, yeah, Frack has been a really interesting character. I love how we see that he's actually the friend of Arin, kind of already setting that tone of familiarity between us, the audience, and this guy, because like he's the friend of one of our main characters, Arin. And we get like a flashback where we see he's protecting Arin from bullies, and he also is a big fan of ninjas. So it's like he's basically similar to Arin in so many ways and aspects. So we can't even hate the character because he's similar to Arin. So why would we hate the character? But I love how the story plays along and like plays the long game, basically having us think that yeah, Frack may be good, but also subverting our expectations through like us like getting hints through like multiple characters like Sora like kind of suspecting Frack on if he could be a bad guy, because it is actually revealed later down the line that he teams up with Roz and his group, you know, and he's competing with them. So it's kind of solidifying Sora's suspicion on Frack. But we realize Frack isn't really a bad guy. He's just going about things the wrong way because he's taking orders and he's being trained by Roz. And we see that through his battles in the Tournament of Elements. We see that he's not really somebody that likes to fight, you know, underhanded or dirty, because even though Roz would tell him to like, you know, win, he would win the right way. And that's what I like about his character, is that even though yes, he is a big fan, he does want to get stronger, he is a big fan of like people that are more powerful than him, and he would take advice and he would learn similar to Arin, but he's not dishonorable, you know. He's not somebody that would just do something just because of power. He would want to do it the right way, the honest way. And it's shown through the fight against him and Sora. We see that about to lose, he's about to fall off the platform. Then, you know, Roz forces him to use the mask, you know, so that he would awaken Shatter Spin, but he kind of discards the idea and he just, you know, fights fair and square against Sora, establishing the respect between him and Sora kind of re-stancing herself on how she really felt about Frack, you know. And it's so cool that it's a full 180, it's a full circle moment, because we were made to believe that this Frack guy could be weird and suspicious, but then it's revealed that he's actually pretty cool and pretty honest and just pretty honorable as a character. So yeah, man, Frack is, Dragons Rising, they're 2 for 2, man. They really know how to handle their side characters, supporting characters. Like I said before, this character wasn't around for a long time, but for the little time he's been on, he's been memorable for the most part. Like Frack is a pretty cool character, really cool character. And then our next character we have is Jordana. Jordana, season 1, Jordana wasn't really somebody that I particularly cared for, because there was just a lot of things going on. She just felt like an afterthought, because we know that like during the end of, you know, season 1, she was just lurking because she was with that scientist, but the scientist was like discarded, so she didn't really have anything going for her until she met Roz, and it was just a whole lot of craziness. And then we see that within season 2, she becomes Roz's underling and she just serves him and stuff like that. And yeah, man, she was just a running joke for the most part in the earlier parts of season 1, because, you know, Sora, being that her and Sora come from Imperium and they both went to school together, Sora never really remembered who this person was. And so it was just a gag moment where like they would run into each other and Sora wouldn't even know this chick's name. So she was just used for comic relief for the most part. But then things got serious for her during the end or the beginning of season 2, because then since she was working with Roz, the writers just had to make her a threat, you know, since automatically working with Roz just makes you a threat. So they had to give her some sort of direction, and they decided to take her character to a interesting route, because they made her into somebody that is able to, you know, produce spells and conjure up a bunch of magic abilities, making her somewhat formidable, you know, and making her like basically making the ninja remember her, making Sora remember her. Because before, like I said, she wasn't really remembered by the ninja or Sora, but when they run into each other often, more and more, they are able to like realize that, oh, she's a part of the pack, she's a threat. And so I like how Ninjago's rising, it's like a rise like from 0 to hero. She goes from somebody that's not known, she goes from somebody that wasn't even like talked about to now being like on the ninja's radar. So I like that progression, I like that development with her. And just in season 2 with this, and during the tournament of elements, I love that she's like, we're just getting signs that she's not actually evil and that something could be bigger, because we see that throughout her interactions with Sora, she's always like calling out for help. If it's by writing it through math equations that only her and Sora can understand because it's an Imperium, or it's just, you know, her just actually wanting to talk to Sora at times, which could be weird, but we just see her go out of her way to, you know, ask for help. And we see that, yeah, Jordana just wasn't really, she didn't know what she was getting herself into with this whole Raw situation. And she just found out too late what this whole plan really was. And she just wasn't really ready for that life. You know, she wasn't ready. So yeah, man. And I liked her full circle moment as well when she helped the ninja fight against Nokt and like his sister, you know, by freeing them and stuff like that. And even calling, you know, to the rescue so that Sora could come help them out. So yeah, man, Jordana, she really makes a name for herself. At first, I didn't really care about her character, but then as the story went on, she kind of grew on me, you know. Last but certainly not least, we have Zotrix, the sister of Beatrix and, you know, the former heir to the Imperium throne. The first time we saw her was during a flashback where we see Beatrix and how she was just jealous of her sister because she was receiving all the praise for being the elemental master of Shockwave, and we just knew that Beatrix just wasn't having it, and so she exiled Zotrix from the kingdom and killed their dad. And it seemed like through this moment we just didn't know if Zotrix was alive, we didn't know of her existence, but then she makes her reemerges and she makes her appearance in the you know, tournament of sources, or element, where we see that she is frustrated, she is livid that the ninja defeated Beatrix, because she wanted to do that by her own hands, but the ninja beat her to it. She just wasn't having it, so she, you know, declared war on the ninja and also on Roz. Roz didn't get out of this easy as well, because obviously she probably figured out that he was behind the coup d'etat that him and Beatrix planned against the kingdom. And I was just interested and I was invested in her arc and how she was going to achieve that goal. And I just, you know, was just very intrigued with her character because of her power. Shockwave, come on, tell me that doesn't sound cool and unique. And I just wanted to see her journey, man, because I just wanted to see how she would interact with the ninja, Roz. And yeah, man, I kind of felt for her, because like, imagine you being exiled from your kingdom and you losing your father and you not getting any clarity from that, and you coming back but looked upon as like evil or crazy because nobody understands what happened. So yeah, man, I just wished we could have seen more from Zotrix, because she ends up getting banished from the Tournament of Sources because of her, almost, unaliving Lloyd, and her breaking the rules and stuff like that. So yeah, man, Zotrix was a very interesting character. I just wanted to see more from her and more of her, but obviously plot had to intervene and we just had to see her go. So man, that's basically all the side characters that I can think of from this season alone. This season was amazing. I loved the Tournament of Sources. I loved the overall, premise of what we were dealing with. And yeah, man, Ninjago's Dragons Rising, it just keeps going up in like just amazingness. It just keeps going up on my list for like my top 5 favorite like shows, because it's just so good. And yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please, guys, comment down below on any other side character that you wanted me to talk about, or that you want me to talk about in the next video, in another video. I'll gladly do it, because like there are a lot of characters in Dragons Rising that I did miss and that I do kind of want to get to talking about. So guys, just comment that down below and I'll see to it right away. And yeah, man, I just want to thank you guys for the support from the last video. It did pretty well. I just didn't expect that much, but you guys are insane. Thank you guys for that support. And yeah, man, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.